Every
Austin
town has
Turner
its
stepped
fixtures.
into his elegant Manhattan
Millage,
office.
it wasn't a statue or flagpole.
Outside, the city
It was
that
Hal
never
Mercer's
slept
regular
pulsed
seat
with
in the
life.
diner corner.
At 35,
The bell over
he
the
had
door
built
as
his
maple
empire
and
from
pine
nothing.
chimed softly
An
as Hal
empire that
entered.
demanded
His
perfection,
frame slightly
precision,
bent,
and control.
his steps measured. But
Austin's
steady.
confidence was his greatest
The air
strength.
hung sweet with
but it
maple
often
syrup
bordered
and
on
warm
arrogance.
eggs.
Steam
He trusted
rising
no
from the
one
kitchen,
and believed
accompanied
primarily
by the
in his
sizzle of
own
the griddle.
judgment.
He didn't need to
As
look around.
CEO of a
The
multi-million
window
dollar
booth
company,
was always open.
Austin
at
was used to
6:42
making
a.m.
tough decisions.
Darlene spotted
Every day
him before
was
he spoke.
a marathon of
Morning,
meetings,
darling,
phone calls, and
she said,
negotiations.
already reaching
But
for
today,
the black coffee carafe.
one deal weighed on his mind.
Hal nodded briefly.
A contract with
A
David
whisper
Matthews,
of a smile crossing his
potential
face
partner
as he
whose
slid into the
reputation
booth.
was shadowed by doubt.
He placed his leather-bound
Matthews
notebook by the
offered a
salt
lucrative
shaker and folded his
opportunity
coat
that could
just
reshape
so it on the
Austin's
hook.
company.
The jacket,
Yet something
faded,
felt off.
frayed, looked
The
like
documents
stories
were
were
sewn
sewn
into
into
every
desk lay
seam.
scattered like puzzle
He
pieces
unfolded
that
the
didn't quite
Millage
fit.
Weekly Tribune.
Each page
Gave it one
seemed
shake
too
and
perfect,
spread it across the
too
table
polished.
like ritual.
His gut
Warned him.
Nobody asked where Hal
If
came
something
from.
seems too good to be true,
They just knew he
it
arrived
usually
every
is.
morning. Austin
Same
had
jacket,
learned the hard way that
same
business
silence.
left no room for error.
His
presence kept rhythm
Every
like the
step
jukebox
had to be calculated.
that returned to Sinatra at the,
The
same
numbers
time
looked
every
promising,
Monday, but he wasn't ready
He always
to dive
ordered
in.
buttermilk pancakes,
Not without
no
answers.
butter.
2 crisp
His
bacon
phone
strips,
rang,
snapping
and
him
always
from
left
his
a
folded
folded
$3 bill under
Charlotte.
the saucer before his plate arrived.
Austin, how
At
long are you going to
6:47
keep me
a.m.,
waiting?
Brandon
We'll lose
Hale
this.
blew in
Deal
with a
if you
gust of
don't sign
cold air
today.
and the clatter of an
This is our
overstuffed
chance
binder.
to live the
The
life we've
doorbell
always
jangled
wanted.
louder, less welcoming.
Austin's jaw clenched.
Big week ahead,
Charlotte
folks,
was relentless.
he announced, brushing
Always
past 2
chasing more.
retirees picking at
And
their
this
omelets.
contract was no exception.
Darlene gave him a half
For her,
smile without breaking
it wasn't just
stride
about
as
the
she
company.
poured Mr. Kessler's
It was about
coffee.
lifestyle, wealth, luxury.
Brandon beelined for
Pressure
the counter,
tightened around
dropping
him
his
as her
binder
words
with a
echoed in
thud.
his mind.
Triple
She'd pushed
espresso
this
today
deal for
Darlene.
weeks.
You wouldn't
Charlotte
believe the
didn't care
Veterans
about the
Day
fine
planning
print.
chaos.
Only the payout.
She
Money.
raised an eyebrow.
Status.
How
Endless
chaotic we
vacations.
talking, honey? They'd been married
Brandon
7
laughed,
years,
scanning the room.
What had once
His
been
eyes
love
landed on
now
Hal.
felt like a partnership of
Still
pure
holding
ambition.
court, I see. Their
He said,
ambition.
just loud
He
enough to
set the
carry.
phone down.
Fingers
Must be nice
drumming
having
the
a permanent
desk.
reservation.
The weight of the decision pressed
Darlene
on
didn't
him.
respond
Charlotte's
immediately.
expectations
She
had
delivered
always been
Hal's
high,
breakfast
but lately
with deliberate
they'd
care.
become suffocating.
This man pulled
She
my
wasn't
Norman
just his
from
wife
Miller
anymore.
Street when a car jumped
She was
the
his
curb.
co-conspirator
Broke
in
his
a race for
yanking
wealth
him
and
clear.
recognition.
Never said a
A
word
race
about it,
Austin
just paid
wasn't
his bill
sure
and
he
went
wanted
home.
to run. Brandon's laugh
A
died
home that no
mid-chuckle.
longer felt like one.
Didn't know that. When Austin
There's
returned
plenty
that
you don't
evening,
know, baby.
the city's lights
Darlene
blurred,
said,
turning
into a
back to the
hazy
counter.
glow.
Brandon
He entered the
slithered
penthouse.
to Hal's
A place
booth,
that should have been a
arms crossed,
sanctuary, but
binder
now
pressed
felt
to
like
his
a
chest.
gilded cage.
Hal didn't look up
Charlotte
from his
stood in
paper.
the kitchen, effortlessly
Brandon leaned
preparing
in,
dinner,
eyes narrowing.
The scent
at
of
the
rosemary
jacket.
and garlic filled the air.
That thing belongs
She
in a
greeted him
donation
with a
bin.
smile, but tonight
He
something
remarked,
was different,
pointing to a barely
flicker in
visible
her eyes.
bluish triangle beneath.
a subtle
The
edge in her
collar.
voice as she handed him a
Seen
glass
too
of
many
wine.
winners. Hal quietly
How
turned
was
a
your day,
page.
Austin?
His silver watch
sweet.
ticked softly beneath
Too
Sinatra's voice.
rehearsed.
Brandon
He
laughed
exhaled sharply.
again. The edge
Long
unmasked
meetings.
now. And your constant
Hope it
pressure
holds
to sign
together
Matthews'
through the
deal.
parade.
He shrugged off his
Darlene,
jacket at the coffee machine,
exhaustion
froze,
settling in.
Her gaze,
His mind still
lifted
churned over the contract,
not to Brandon, but
the
to
numbers.
Hal. The gnawing
The
unease.
newspaper in his hands went still, though
Charlotte
he said
didn't
nothing.
notice his
The
distraction.
silence weighed
She
heavier
never
than the
did.
insult. I made
Brandon
your favorite
shifted his
steak.
weight suddenly.
I thought
I'm
we could
certain.
celebrate tonight.
He tapped the table twice.
Her tone was hopeful.
Big week.
A plea for him
I'll
to
leave you to
relax,
yours,
to give
rituals.
in. But Austin wasn't
Turning,
ready.
he caught his hip on the counter.
Not yet.
The doorbell's
He
usual
watched her
chime
set the
sounded,
table,
softer
every
every movement
behind him.
elegant.
Yet
Morning
it only
sun broke
deepened
through the diner's
his
streaked
discomfort.
windows, warming
Charlotte
the
had
laminate
always been
and
this
glinting
way,
off brass napkin
always
holders as
reaching for
Darlene
more.
slid into Hal's booth. But Austin wasn't sure
The light
he
hit his
wanted the
jacket
same
at just
things
the right
anymore.
angle to draw attention.
He sat,
Hal
fingers
never
laced,
missed a Monday in
staring
Mosswood
past
Park.
his wine glass.
And the benches never needed
Something
to
felt
ask
missing.
who kept them clean.
Did you sign the contract?
At 6:03
Charlotte asked
a.m.,
lightly, but the
fog
undercurrent
still
made his
clung
pulse
thick
spike.
between the trees.
She'd been waiting
Cooling
for this.
around bronze statues and
Austin
gravel paths.
hesitated, then set
The
his
park
glass
stood
down.
silent except for the scrape
Not
of Hal
yet.
Mercer's hand
I
brushing
need more
dead leaves
time.
from bench number 7
Her
slats.
smile faltered.
One of the last wooden
Just
ones not replaced
for a
by
second,
plastic.
but it was enough to thicken the air
His
between
linen
them.
sack held folded
Time?
cloths, a dented
Her voice
thermos,
sharpened.
and a small American
Austin,
flag.
we've discussed
still,
this for weeks.
Stiff from its packaging.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity,
Moving
and you're
slowly,
still
knees
hesitating.
protesting, he knelt
Her
before
words
Lieutenant
stung,
Thomas Callahan's
but he
weathered
refused to
plaque.
yield.
With a clean
I know,
handkerchief, he wiped the
but I
bronze
have to
clean,
be sure.
polished the
There are
name
too
and
many
carefully
unknowns.
straightened the flower
He
vase. Studied her, the
A
perfect
weekend
hair, the
wind
flawless
had toppled
makeup,
one
the breathtaking
carnation.
dress. Hal replaced
Beneath
it
it
all
with
was a
quiet
woman
care,
who wanted more,
aligning the
who wouldn't
flag so it
stop
stood
pushing
straight
until
and
he
centered.
broke.
Gravel
loved her.
crunched behind him, but tonight he wondered if
Sir,
he even knew her
this
anymore.
area
is closed until the city
The
crew
conversation
finishes
ended
as it always did. Brandon
Charlotte
Charlotte
with her
voice cut
demands.
through the fog. Austin with his
Clipboard
doubts
clutched
like a shield. He pushed his plate
Hal
away.
turned his head
appetite
slowly,
gone.
rising
with the deliberate
The
patience of a
contract.
man who'd survived
Matthews.
louder orders. Charlotte. He said nothing. It all felt
Instead,
like a
he
storm.
nodded lightly and
he
pointed
couldn't
at the
control.
vase.
Brandon
Austin
came
stood,
closer and surveyed
excusing
the area.
himself.
He just wanted
We
to
marked the
return to
zones
his
for the
office when Charlotte called
veteran
after him.
program.
Don't forget to
Chairs,
call
stage,
Matthews.
loudspeakers.
The perfect
The law
Charlotte
department
again.
says no
We
volunteer
need this
helpers
deal
without
without
a
a
license until the
layout's
layout's
approved.
He
Arrest,
nodded if they have to.
but the knot in his stomach
Hale
only
didn't
tightened.
answer.
He
Something
grabbed his
about
carry
Matthews
bag and
about
pulled
the
out a
deal
small
felt
wooden
wrong.
sign. But was he
Its
being
surface
paranoid?
hand-painted
with careful,
as he walked
angular
away,
letters.
the weight
of the situation
Remember them,
loomed
yes?
over him like a storm
He
cloud.
placed it
gently in the soft
phone
earth
vibrated
beside the
again.
sidewalk. Matthew's moment
Brandon
of
blinked.
reckoning drew closer. Did you make that? Austin Turner sat at his
A
desk.
woman's.
The weight
voice
of the
rang
world
out from
pressing
behind
on his
the
shoulders.
hedges.
He does one
His
every
office
year. Was
Tina
dimly
Alvarez
lit.
emerged between the trees,
Only
wrapped
the
in an
soft
olive
glow of
green
his
field
desk
jacket,
illuminated
illuminated
the
the
stack
stack
of papers before him.
Work gloves peeked from her
His
carry
mind
bag.
raced as he reviewed the
And I
contract
leave it
with
right
David
where he puts
Matthews.
it.
Every
The same
time.
contract that had been
Brandon
pitched as a
hesitated.
golden opportunity.
It's just, but tonight, not standardized.
Everything
felt different. Tina. The numbers no
Bowed
longer
her head.
added up. The
He was
terms
here
felt
before
off.
her
approval letter was even
Austin's
printed. Fingers trembled slightly
Brandon
as he
flushed.
lifted a page. The clipboard nervously
He'd seen
changed
these
these
hands.
clauses a dozen times. Still, if it's not
Yet
city
now they
sanctioned
fit
together like
She walked
mismatched
past him,
puzzle
picking up a
pieces.
loose
trash bag near
Then
the container. He spotted it. Then
The
they'll just throw it
discrepancy in
out.
Clause 17.
When Brandon
A minor
turned back
detail
to
at
Hale,
first glance.
the older
A
man had
signature
already
on the
moved
lower
on.
margin.
Kneeling
The
handwriting
handwriting
wasn't
wasn't
his. Plaque. The date didn't align.
This one read,
too rushed.
Feldwebel
Too
Diane
perfect.
M.
Luring 1960,
He flipped through the pages
1989
faster,
gently,
searching for
he
other
brushed
red
pine
flags
needles from the
and
engraved
found
letters.
another forged
As he bent,
signature.
his jacket stretched, his blood
Revealing
ran
the receiver
cold.
again.
The contract
Triangular,
was fake.
bulging,
It seems nearly
Someone had
smooth.
fabricated his
On
approval.
a nearby bench, Mr.
The
Ogden
entire deal
raised a
was a
trembling
trap.
hand in greeting.
How?
Wrapped in
Matthews,
two shawls with a paper
a
cup
man
of
he'd
coffee,
trusted, had
he watched
orchestrated
Hale
this.
with the quiet
Or was
awe
there
of a
someone
morning
else
ritual.
pulling the strings?
He's done
A
this
quiet
since my
knock
eldest was
interrupted his
born.
thoughts.
Tina murmured. Emily Lawson never
The
asked
young
for
daughter
thanks.
of his cleaning
Brandon
staff
crossed
stepped
his
inside.
arms.
Still
Nervous
wearing
but
that
resolute,
jacket,
she
huh?
clutched a folder. His voice
Mr.
lifted
Turner,
slightly to carry.
I
found something you need to see. Austin gestured her forward, still reeling, from the discovery. As she approached, Emily handed him a stack of hidden documents, files from his own office stashed in a back drawer. My mother, Victoria, Emily began, noticed something odd last week while cleaning. At first she stayed quiet, but then she saw the forged signatures. Austin's gaze sharpened as he scanned the papers. His suspicions were confirmed. Victoria had uncovered the deception before he had, but fear kept her silent. She'd quietly gathered evidence, sensing danger but not understanding its scope. My mother's afraid, Mr. Turner, Emily whispered. She thinks someone's setting you up. Austin leaned back, pulse pounding. If Victoria knew, the conspiracy ran deeper. Someone with office access. Someone who understood his business. The answer struck him like lightning. Charlotte. His wife had acted strangely for weeks, pushing him to sign, dismissing his doubts. Was she part of this? Was Matthews just the puppet and Charlotte the puppeteer? The betrayal determined to uncover the truth, Austin dug deeper. Every document he examined revealed another red flag, hidden clauses, deliberate oversights. Matthews wasn't the mastermind. He was a pawn in a larger game. Then one evening, as Austin walked to his car, a scene froze him mid-step. Through a cafe window, Charlotte sat with David Matthews, too close. Her hand rested on his arm. Matthews laughed, a warmth in his expression Austin had never seen. His stomach dropped. Charlotte, the woman he'd built a life with, was conspiring with the man trying to ruin him. His phone buzzed. A text from Charlotte. We need to talk. Now, as if she knew he'd seen them. Confrontation, Austin arrived home to find Charlotte pacing the living room. Austin, I swear it's not what you think. Her voice shook. Then explain, he said coldly. Why were you with Matthews? What are you hiding? Charlotte exhaled, shoulders slumping. David pressured me. He threatened to destroy us, our business, our lives, if I didn't help him. I thought I was protecting us. Austin's world shattered. The woman he loved had betrayed him. For greed or fear, it didn't matter. The damage was done. The reckoning with help from Victoria, now his steadfast ally, Austin uncovered the full truth. Matthews wasn't just a fraud. He led a criminal empire, using Austin's company to launder money. And Charlotte? She'd been in too deep to escape. The trial was brutal. Victoria presented irrefutable evidence, forged documents, secret accounts, the whole sordid scheme. Matthews's confidence cracked. Charlotte sat silent, ashamed to meet Austin's eyes. The verdict? Guilty. 10 years in federal prison for Matthews, Charlotte, and their shadowy accomplice, Albert Sinclair. Aftermath victory brought hollow relief. Austin rebuilt, his company with a new creed, transparency over profit. Victoria, empowered by their fight, became a champion for justice. Then, months later,